going back to when you were racing World Cups, what was the first year and World Cup that you got to go to? Was that like was that a big goal of yours to go and race World Cups, or was it just part of the team?
Um, I mean, I've always wanted to sort of race and stuff and ride abroad. That opened being on the animal thing, like obviously opened up a few sort of doors and stuff to do that. I think it was 97. I think it was 97 or 98, 97. I think I was third in elites,
Yeah.
behind Pete. I think it's Pete and Chris Whitfield, first and second, I
Yes.
think.
I
Or was it Tim? I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, I was third in.
I think you're right. Uh,
Was
Petey
it
might have won
Pete
two World Cups, and maybe Tim won it, and Chris was
second?
maybe yeah,
Because it
yeah,
was the last one at Ludlow, and I had to do, I was like seventh or fifth or something. And
yeah.
if I had a good run, a good ride, I could bump up to third.
Okay.
And I think Warner made a right. Oh no, Warner won it, I think, didn't he? Petey fell off coming out of the woods, I think, didn't he?
Can't remember. I would have been in senior category that year, so not in your category because that was my
Right.
first year. But I can't quite remember what happened at that race.
Mm. But I come down, and I was leading it for quite a while, which is like I was like, wow, that's quite amazing. I've actually done all right for a change.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, you did
And
good. You did good. I
yeah,
mean,
that
come
was
third
that year was all
overall.
right. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean to come third overall in the national series at that time, that's no mean feat, you know.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that. I think that's one of my sort of results that gets overlooked quite a lot. Even I forget about it a lot.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, back on it, and the people that are riding then, I know Petey and Rob were sort of away doing World Cups and stuff, but they were back for a few, and they obviously acquired quite a fair lot of points, obviously with the two that they did or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I think that was probably one of the better years, and that almost sort of turned my thinking sort of like towards the World Cups and saying, oh, maybe I could do all right at World Cups.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I think it was 90. That might have been 96 or 90, yeah, 97, and then I think it was 97 that we started to do a couple. Um, I think one of the first ones we went out to was Nevergale,
Right.
um, and rode there, and that was just a massive eye opener. Like the tracks were flipping mental. Like, you know, yeah, 2 minutes here or whatever, the longest track we had. Like, and you go over there, and like Nevergale's like 3.5, 4 minutes long, and we're like, oh fuck, it's bloody, it's nuts. You're getting halfway down, and you can't even hold on.
But
You
you're
know,
going so much faster as well, aren't you?
yeah, yeah. The tracks were insane, but they were so good to ride, like and ride different stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, Nevergale is probably one of my favorite tracks.
Okay.
It's an awesome track. It's so different. It's got the really wide open, steep stuff at the top. Then it comes into the rocks. It's just literally rock switchbacks for like a minute,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it goes into the woods, and you got all these roots and rocks, and it drops out onto the fire road, and you flat out down a fire road like hay bale chicane or whatever, and then jump into like the banks or the hills and stuff to finish. It's like it just had everything in it. It was such a cool track.
Yeah, definitely. You know, for the time I did the World Cups, it was definitely, I think, one of the better ones for sure. Like you
Mm.
said, had a bit of everything in, didn't it? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome.
and so we've got to talk about so that was 98, yeah, 98. I raced at Nevergal, which
Mm.
you I went out with Rich Warner and Tom Edwards, Cade,
Yeah, yeah,
and what's his? Oh, flipping it! Why have I forgotten his name? He's gonna kill me. Uh,
yeah.
lad who rode for Scott from Warrington. Um,
Oh, the glasses.
no,
The
that
guy
was
with glasses.
um. Oh, God, flip! Why have I forgot his name?
Didn't have a rat tail.
Chris Spencer.
Yes, Chris Spencer. Yes, yeah, yeah.
So us four went out in Rich's van because we kind of weren't. We all had our own little sponsors, but nothing like crazy. And
Mm.
were you still on Animal Orange in '98, or were you on Giant UK then with Rich Warner?
Um, I I think I was on Giant because I was on the ATX1.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that was a that was a weird old race that was because it was wet as hell, wasn't it?
yeah,
And I think, yeah, like practice and stuff went all right. It was like okay, and then the rain came in real bad, didn't it? And like it started pissing. I was like, oh, never a fan of the rain, so probably the worst thing you ever put me in that. And I think, well, both me and you both went to the top and like had our runs, got to the bottom. We were just chatting, like, how do you do? Absolutely shite, like
yeah.
real bad, like literally pushing the bike along one straight for like a minute or whatever, like ridiculous.
I had a
And
man at the top thinking I was going to win it because I'd qualified decent.
yeah, and like it's just crazy, like yeah. And we qualified because we were looking at the sheets. I think you were what 22nd or something,
I was actually, I actually didn't. Rich came back and told me I hadn't qualified. Uh,
right?
Steve's in 24th or whatever. I was like, mint. I was a bit bummed I hadn't qualified, but then
Yeah,
Rich didn't check the first page, and
yeah,
I was one of my best qualifiers. I think I was 17th.
yeah.
Um,
That's and I was pumped because I don't ride in the wet.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like I pushed a whole straight pretty much. I was like, holy crap, I could be on for a podium here. It's like, good lord.
Yeah,
Anyway, I right, I'm gonna get my bike sorted. Went to Hope to get all the brakes sorted.
yeah.
So yeah, fucking brilliant. I picked it up, got on the lift, went up there, pumped, proper pumped. And I can remember Dave Watson was behind me. I was just about to go and I pulled my brakes on and the rear one went straight to the handlebar and all the fluid pissed out.
Oh
So
no.
I'm thinking, no, this ain't good. And I can hear Dave Watson pissing himself in the background. And then next thing I pulled the tear off, but some water must have got stuck behind the Smith goggles and it snapped the flipping thing off. So so I was like, well, what's the worst gonna happen? So I reckon if you looked at the first split, never go, I reckon I was probably the fastest to where I binned it on the motocross downhill section.
I've been,
'Cause I literally had no brakes.
yeah. And
Um,
I don't see like last week in Leger Amory Pirion pulling his brake and the oil flying out and his roll offs getting stuck. I don't know what's going on.
no, I think I might be slightly more professional than we were. Yeah, we just got on the thing and bloody rode it, didn't we? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty nuts, but it was, yeah, it's character building. That's the word, isn't it?
Character. And I don't know if you remember, I think it was probably because I was a bit, newer to riding my bike again and I'd not rode in a while. But I
Mm,
always remember like when we got to a World Cup, nowadays they go and walk the track 40 times or whatever and do a
mm.
Instagram story on it. Once we got to a venue, I just remember us jumping on our slalom bikes and just bombing it around town and finding jumps and shit to mess about with and waste all our energy before we actually got to racing.
Yeah, well, that's what we did, wasn't it? Like, you don't need to warm up on an English track; it's only a minute long. Like, you go there, you need all your energy. Like, you don't think that that you're racing somewhere that's 4 minutes long, 3.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
So you're just doing what you do day in, day out, and it's not really the right thing to do. But
No, no,
you did learn eventually, obviously,
yeah.
but and to get a bit more serious, but
Mm, slightly.
ish, ish, yeah.
And then anyway, so obviously I got obviously got racing with you throughout that '98 season. We had a good laugh and stuff. But then
Mm,
'99, the first World Cup was, I think we had three World Cups in Europe. I think the first one was Leger, then it
mm,
went Maribor, maybe the first time Maribor happened, and then it was going back to Nevergal.
yeah.
Uh, were you were still on Giant UK that year? Was that right?
Um,
99.
I think was that in the fun bus when we did our trip?
Yeah.
That I think I was on Spooky then, wasn't I?
Do you gonna
That was not was that 99?
Mad? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's 99. Yeah, that was definitely a trip to remember. That was, wasn't it? I
Well,
think.
before we talk about that trip, how
Mm,
did it about you riding for Spooky, like from Giant UK to Spooky? How did that come about?
um, the giant. I'm not really sure how the giant thing ended. I think it just sort of, I don't know, went a bit sort of stale. Maybe I don't know. Um, the spooky thing was done. There was a guy who had a shop in Lymington called Smell the Adrenaline, and he basically was bringing in spooky, and he sort of he put together a little team. It was me, Chico, Andy Pope, I think at the time. So we were doing all the British nationals, and a few of us. I think me and Andy did a couple of the World Cups
Uh-huh.
that year. I did quite a few of them, but Andy only came out to a couple. But yeah, the bike was mint. It was super good, but it was heavy. So anywhere over here where we raced it, I think at a dirty race, a muddy race, the bike weighed like 56 pounds or something stupid.
Back in
It,
e-bike.
yeah, it was ridiculous heavy. But on the World Cup stuff, it was amazing. But I don't know. That year, I just had so much bad luck when I was actually riding all right. I think Big Bear, like I think I bent two sets of pedals in two runs on this rock gap thing, and like
Yeah.
it's like that was the end of it. Really, I think I qualified for him, but like not didn't really do very well in the final. And then I think one of my best ones would have been Mont Saint Anne. I think I was doing all right on like the time sort of sectors and stuff. Like, and then I got a puncher near the bottom, and it's like gutted. Like so it's just that year was a bit of a dud year, even though on sort of good equipment for the racing.
Yeah, and you were.
Like the Rissy stuff was good. It's good forks. They work well, and all the guys we met out there were just sound, and they were willing to do anything for you, to get your bike good. But it just bad luck, really. To be fair.
Yeah, sure.